Greetings, Earthlings, extraterrestrials, ethereal beings, multidimensional creatures, or whomever may be watching. Welcome to the newest episode of the Rice Crypto Show. Give me that 5x5 if you can hear me loud and clear. If you're watching on replay, fast forward to about the 4-minute, 20-second mark. Live streaming on YouTube or Rumble and X. Smash that like button. Be sure to share. Give me that 5x5 if you can hear me loud and clear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Here we go. Let's get this show rolling. Let's do it. Again, if you're watching on replay, fast forward to the 4-minute, 20-second mark for a particular reason. And I'm going to give a shout out to the sponsors of Rice Crypto and make it possible for me to do this Rice TVX thing full time. Shout out to Presearch. Shout out to Monarch. You can always find information every video description. Monarch is a cryptocurrency wallet that you possess, own, and control your private keys. One of the most important things in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. And Presearch, the decentralized search engine with AI that rewards. All right. Thank you again for tuning in for today's live stream. I just scheduled it a little bit before we started it, maybe scheduled a half hour ago. I had something else I was going to be talking about, but was having trouble figuring out a thumbnail and title. And that will be coming. But I figured today we will go into some Bitcoin history, some things about Bitcoin, things that happened 13 years ago. And I will give you a hint. One of those things is 13 years ago, Bitcoin hit its all-time high of $2. That's right. 13 years ago, you could have got one Bitcoin for $2, and that was the all-time high. Real quick, a channel sponsorship message or a channel message for you. So check it out. Don't forget to visit Rice TVX anytime. Don't forget to visit ricetvx.com, where you can watch both of my YouTube channels, Rice Crypto and Rice Against the Grain, directly. Find all of my social media links, sign up for my mailing list, and become a member of Rice Uncensored, where you can join me on the private side for less than $0.25 a day. You will get early access to both Rice Crypto and Rice Against the Grain, ad-free, unedited videos, exclusive content, members-only forum with direct access to me, live streams, and more to come, only at ricetvx.com. That's right. So make sure you are subscribed to both of my YouTube channels, which you can watch directly at ricetvx.com. You can join me on the private side at ricetvx.com for $7 a month. That's less than $0.25 a day. And that supports what I do, supports independent media. We're going to be talking about some Bitcoin history today. I do encourage everybody to make sure you let me know who you are in the chat. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to join me today, because as always, I like to say this because it's very important. Time is our most valuable asset. That's why we have this idea of currency and money, so we can value our time. So thank you again. Smash that like button. If you guys happen to be watching over on the X side, follow me at RiceTVX and make sure you're reposting this. Give a thumbs up, because it's supposed to help with the algorithm wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Rumble, over on X. Again, I appreciate we have over 43 people watching. Shout out to Presearch in the house. Thank you for joining Presearch. Presearch is obviously one of the sponsors of the channel. We're going to be doing a live AMA tomorrow at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be on the Pre-Search YouTube channel, Pre-Search Rumble channel, and on X at Pre-Search News. So if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or anything Pre-Search related, I am involved in the Pre-Search project beyond just running the live stream. So feel free to join us tomorrow, the 24th of April, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Shout out to Crypto Incognito. Thank you for the 555. Henry Bob Swillikers, thank you as always for joining. Massive love to you. I appreciate the years of support, my friend. So it looks like we've got about 15 people or so watching over on the Rumble side. Let's see how much YouTube is slacking because of the algorithm. Let me see. I can't even really view. I mean, 21 people watching over there. And let's see how we're doing over on the X side. Let me go ahead and refresh my screen here on the X. And I will just go ahead and do a quick screen share so you guys can see the X account as well. So you can follow me if you're not already following me. And again, that is at Rice TVX over on the X. Rice TVX on X. Let me see here. Are we live streaming? Because we definitely were supposed to be live streaming. I'm refreshing right now to see what's going on. Yes, look, we are live on the X. Thank you again. I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I'm going to go ahead and repost it, even though it's one of my main feed anyways. So again, if you're watching on the X side, please take an opportunity to repost the video. All right, so I want to pull up something really quickly because this is about some Bitcoin history. 13 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto wrote it, him, they, them, whatever they identify as, it, him, she, not sure. But Satoshi, this is asked by Mike Hearn. Mike Hearn was heavily involved in the Bitcoin Foundation, if I understand correctly. He was working alongside of Gavin Andersen. Gavin is somebody who Satoshi Nakamoto passed on the keys of Bitcoin to. When I say the keys of Bitcoin, in order to make changes, you had to be able to have the keys to the project. Almost think about it as like a vehicle. In order to do anything, to make sure that any kind of mechanical changes, you have to start the vehicle to make sure that everything is done properly. In this instance, you cannot make any changes without having the proper keys, the proper authority. That authority was given to Gavin Andersen. That was the first person that Satoshi Nakamoto, the individual or group, gave the keys to. Now, Mike Hearn was heavily involved with Gavin Andersen, and April 23rd, 2011, 13 years ago today at 3:40 p.m. And I'm not sure if that's Eastern time. That's kind of a neither here nor there. But let me go ahead. So Mike Hearn was asking, I had a few other things on mind as always. One is, are you planning on rejoining the community at some point? For example, for code reviews? Or is your plan to permanently step back from the limelight? I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone. I do hope your Bitcoin J continues to be developed into an alternative client. It gives Java devs something to work on, and it's easier with a simpler foundation that doesn't have to do everything. It'll get critical mass when impatient new users can get started using it while other one is still downloading the blockchain. So this is the actual copy of that message that took place. And I'm not sure which forum this was. I do not believe this was an email. I believe this was a public forum. So let me go ahead and get the screen share shared back up here on screen. And let me make sure I got this pulled up correctly. And I've got a link down here in the video description that you guys can all check out. I just got to get rid of the thumbnail real quick that I've got pulled up because this is a thumbnail. All right. So this is for the Satoshi Nakamoto trending topic on X. I've got it linked down below in the video description, so you guys can check this out on your own. But it reads, on April 23rd, 2011, Satoshi Nakamoto, the enigmatic creator of Bitcoin, announced his departure from the project in a final message on an online forum. So it was public, stating that he had moved on to other things. Nakamoto entrusted the future of Bitcoin to Gavin Andersen and everyone else. In parentheses, this event, now commemorated 13 years later, marks a significant moment in the history of cryptocurrency as the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto remains a mystery to this day. So there's lots of other things that you can read here. A lot of people talking about the actual forum post right here that I shared just a moment ago. Let's see. As we scroll down, this is really interesting. Vivek for real is posting, if you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to convince you. Sorry, Bitcoin. So it's explaining how many US dollars from 1933 to 1920 go into an ounce of gold. Obviously, Bitcoin's quite different. As we scroll down, this is something I did find interesting. It just came up in the feed. But Mr. 100, who's somebody that we know, it's a mystery individual. We're not sure who it is, but Mr. 100 has been buying 100 Bitcoin a day. The interesting thing about that is Mr. 100 actually sold 1,000 Bitcoin yesterday. And this would be the first sell since February 11th at 70 days after straight accumulation. So that's pretty interesting to learn as well. As we scroll down, here we are. And this comes from at Pete_Rizzo. He's with Bitcoin Magazine. Fun fact, 13 years ago today, Bitcoin hit an all-time high above $2 for the very first time. $2. So the same day that Satoshi posted on a forum, Bitcoin hit above all-time highs at $2. Today, let's see where we're at. Coin market cap, and let's see, it's pulling up. Current price of Bitcoin is sitting at 66,430. Well, 66,400 bucks roughly. We're up about 0.15% for the hour. We're down 0.5% for the 24 hours, and we're up 4% in 7 days. So $66,400 Bitcoin, when 13 years ago hit an all-time high right above $2. Bitcoin definitely changes everything. You know, we don't know who the individual or the group of Satoshi Nakamoto is. There's obviously a lot of speculation. There's obviously a lot of people who are curious. If you guys are watching and have not smashed that like button, I would greatly appreciate it if you take an opportunity to give this video a thumbs up. It's supposed to help with the algorithm. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, if you're watching over on the X side, again, please, I would appreciate if you can repost this. That way we can get more people listening to this information and learning a little bit about history. Because again, 13 years ago, Satoshi wrote his last message in the forum. I've moved on to better things, not better things. I've moved on to other things. I should correct myself. Definitely moved on to other things. I've moved on to other things, just as the thumbnail says. And Bitcoin hit that all-time high of right above $2, which is insane. Top 10 is saying Tifio. I'm assuming that you are in the wolf pack, that you are a viewer of Waters Above. And if you guys haven't seen that recent interview that I did with Crypto Blood with Waters Above, I dropped that on Saturday. Let's see here in the video section. You can see when Moon, what Bitcoin will do in 2024 with Waters Above and Crypto Blood. If you missed any of that content, definitely be sure to catch up. Check it out. On the Rumble side, you can see both of my channels, all the content over on one channel. I had to split it up on the YouTube side, as most of you might know. All right, so that kind of goes over with a little bit of history. You know, a lot of people speculate, again, who is Satoshi Nakamoto? And there's a lot of people who have their opinions. The court has the opinion that Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Some people think that Hal Finney could have been involved, could have been Satoshi himself, part of the group. So Hal Finney is no longer with us, so we will never know, technically. There's some really interesting interviews with his wife that were done recently with Peter McCormick on What Bitcoin Did and Natalie Brunell's podcast as well. So if you haven't checked those out, I would definitely encourage you to do so as well. One with Nature is saying that was fire. I'm assuming that you're talking about the Waters Above interview, so I appreciate. So going into this idea of who created Bitcoin, Well, one of the things that some people speculate, and I'm not against the idea, is that it could have been created by government actors, government agents. Now, there's always a duality in things. You kind of got your good guys in the government and your bad guys. You're positive, you're negative. You're yin and you're yang. You're yin and you're yang. However you want to look at it. So with that being said, it is possible you have people in the United States government or that work within the government that saw how corrupt the government was and was trying to give us a tool to free ourselves. The technology of blockchain and cryptocurrency, with the very first cryptocurrency to be created to solve the double spend problem, and that would be Bitcoin. So what I'm getting at is you do have people that speculate about the government creating this. Now, I do have a link for this in the video description. And I will put, after the live stream, I'll go ahead and put it in the pinned comment so you can check out both links that I'm sharing in today's video, the X trending list for Satoshi Nakamoto and what I am about to share. Now, before I share it, let me go ahead and copy it from the video description and drop it in the live chat so that everybody can see it conveniently. And, while we're doing this, let me know, who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is? Is it one individual? Is it more than one individual? J Crypto Minded is saying, I'm not sure what the PR, or it was the government knowing the end was near and made Bitcoin for the future. Maybe I'm not sure if that's what you're implying. J Crypto Miner is saying the NSA. I've kind of given it away a little bit here by posting in the comment section. One with Nature is saying yes. So that's what you were referring to, the Waters Above interview. Yeah, if you guys didn't see the interview that me and Crypto Blood did with Waters Above, we dropped that publicly this past Saturday, or I dropped it publicly this past Saturday. I think Blood is running behind on the edit, but be sure to check it out. Let's see what other people are saying here. Matthew Millar, I like this. Celebrities like Jack Dorsey shouldn't be idolized. The king of Twitter censorship is antithetical to the principles of Bitcoin. Well said. We got a lot of NSAs in the house, but you might have noticed I did drop this link for how to make a mint white paper. And this comes from archive.org. I'll get it pulled up on the screen so we can do a proper screen share with it. And you guys can check this out yourself. But it came out in 1997. 1997. Actually, while I'm doing that, I'm going to pull up something else for the screen share. And then, yeah, well, that's what I'll do. And then in the meantime, you guys can take an opportunity to smash that like button and repost this live stream over on the X side. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right, so let me see here. Type in this name here, because this guy is OG. I'm not saying this guy created Bitcoin. This guy is OG. So we have a guy named David Chaum. And let me pull this up full screen real quick. And let me go ahead and get rid of this for a moment. Okay is saying how. Okay, how Finney. So David Chaum, what's interesting about David Chaum, and I'm just going to go ahead and read this first two paragraphs. David Lee Chaum, born 1955, is an American computer scientist, cryptographer, and inventor. He is known as a pioneer in cryptography and privacy-preserving technologies and is widely recognized as the inventor of digital cash. His 1982 dissertation, Computer Systems Established, Maintained, and Trusted by Mutually Suspicious Groups, is the first known proposal for a blockchain protocol. Listen to this. Complete with the code to implement the protocol. In 1982, Chaum's dissertation proposed all but one element of the Bitcoin, later detailed in the Bitcoin white paper. He has been referred to as the father of online anonymity and the godfather of cryptocurrency. I've also heard the godfather of cryptography. So He is also known for developing eCash, which is an electronic cash application that aims to preserve a user's anonymity, and inventing many cryptographic protocols like the blind signature, mixed networks, and dining cryptographers protocol. In 1995, his company DigiCash created the first digital currency with eCash. In 1981, his 1981 paper, Untraceable Electronic Mail Return Addresses and Digital Pseudonyms, laid the groundwork for the field of anonymous communications research. This guy is OG. This guy is OG. Now, here is the NSA archive.org, how to make a mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Now, again, it was 1995 that DigiCash created eCash. Okay, 95. 97, this gets released. It's NSA document by Lauren Liu, Susan Sabat, Jerry Salinas on the creation of cryptographic anonymous cash. You can see the date that it was added to archive.com. As we scroll up, this is the actual white paper itself. If you scroll down, it says this research essay was prepared by NSA employees in furtherance of the study of cryptography. So in 1997 and prior to, the NSA was studying cryptography. The concerns of the report do not necessarily represent the positions or policies of the U.S. government, the Department of Defense, or National Security Agency. The authors are mathematical cryptographers at the NSA's Office of Information Security Research and Technology. This is linked in the video description. After the live stream, I will put it in the live chat. It's a pretty interesting read. I will say it's pretty technical, so it's not exactly exciting, but it is a very interesting read, especially, seeing where we are today with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin white paper coming out Halloween of 2008, and the very first Bitcoin being mined on January 3rd, 2009. We're still very early, still very, very early. But again, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. No clue. We have speculation. Now, this is something really interesting, and it ties into an interview that I'm going to be doing soon with Roger Ver. Roger has a book that he put out. Let me go ahead and go full screen here. I've talked about it a few times on some live streams. If you guys have not checked this book out, Hijacking Bitcoin, The Hidden History of BTC, Roger Ver with Steve Patterson. There is a website, hijackingbitcoin.com, that you could check out, where you can buy the book from Amazon, or you can use cryptocurrency. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the live chat. This is a very good read, very good book, very informative, and it will enlighten you. If you weren't around in 2017 when Bitcoin Cash was created, which is the first hard fork of Bitcoin, it's taking the blockchain and having a chain split, creating two different versions of this technology, ultimately creating more. It's what we call the block size wars. My very first interview with Roger Ver, we talked about it, but this is a book that's about 250 pages that goes into detail. Great book. It's in 3 parts, kind of past going into also what was talked about on during prior to 2017, leading up, and then where we are now. As far as taking back Bitcoin. So it's a phenomenal book. I'm really looking forward to getting Roger on the show so that we can go over it in a lot more detail. There's been a lot of people who were on the other side of the argument and debate of Roger that have since read the book and changed their stance and actually publicly apologized to Roger Ver. Roger's done a lot of great things in the space. And the fact that he was named from Bitcoin Jesus to Bitcoin Judas. And if you understand who controls the media in the cryptocurrency space, they're the individuals who get to control the narrative to make certain individuals look bad. It's very unfortunate, but everything is corruptible and gets corrupted. Colin, it's good seeing you in the house, my friend. Collins with the Pre-Search Project. Definitely check out the book, my friend. It's a great book. Collins' theory is that Satoshi is Elon. He's not sure if that's good or bad. Not sure how I feel about it, but it makes the most sense, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I've got some interesting ideas. I definitely don't think it was one person. I don't think it was one individual. The arguments about Sergei Nazarov from Chainlink, that makes a lot of sense as well. I'm not sure what the connections with Elon and Sergey are. Dmitry Buterin's another character that I think people should include in the equation. He's a computer scientist who's the father of Vitalik Buterin, and he's the one that told Vitalik about Bitcoin in the first place. That could just be coincidence, but when you have a lot of coincidences, sometimes these coincidences aren't just coincidences. So Hijacking Bitcoin, great book written by Roger Ver with Steve Patterson, goes into this hidden history of Bitcoin, which I definitely encourage you to check out. And I definitely encourage you to read this NSA white paper. I think it's important that we know about these things. A lot of people aren't even aware that the government or people who work within the government were actually doing things like this. And this is 1997. We're talking 11 years, easily 11 years before Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin white paper. You've had cryptographers working on this for an immense amount of time. As I mentioned, David Chaum in 1982, when computers weren't just readily available. In 1982, he wrote a dissertation paper. It's the first known proposal for a blockchain protocol, complete with the code and everything to implement the protocol. And it proposed all but one element of the blockchain, later detailed in Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper. Satoshi was able to solve the double spend problem. 13 years ago today, Satoshi Nakamoto said, moving on, deuces. Gavin and everyone else has got this. If Satoshi is alive today, I'm kind of curious what Satoshi would say about Bitcoin, where we are today. Wonder if Satoshi would be satisfied or dissatisfied with where we are now. Flat smack, I love it. Satoshi is a time traveler. He went back to the future already. That's an interesting possibility that he is a time traveler. That would be really phenomenal. Maybe we'll never know, unfortunately. But again, it is always important, I think, the deeper that we get into these technologies, the more that cryptocurrency grows and more mass adoption takes place. It's really important to know the history. Why Bitcoin was created, because a lot of that is being co-opted and being changed. One thing that I learned reading the Hijacking Bitcoin book is that, and this really floored me, there are certain or were certain individuals that are part of Bitcoin Core, the development team of Bitcoin, that actually wanted to rewrite a new Bitcoin white paper that was more in vision with what Core was doing with Bitcoin and not in the vision of Satoshi Nakamoto. Did you know that? Another thing that I definitely, if what I'm talking about is kind of interesting to you, another interview that I will definitely highly encourage you to check out is the interview that I did a couple months ago with Amir Taki. Amir is, and it's these two videos, part 1 and part 2. Part 1, from Bitcoin to fighting ISIS, and that is very much the title, from Bitcoin to fighting ISIS and Let There Be DarkFi. Amir was developer number 5 on the Bitcoin, the 5th developer to come onto the Bitcoin project. He rewrote the code, straightened it out, not rewrote the code, but cleaned up the code. He also had a website called LIB Bitcoin, Lib Bitcoin. It's like library shortened for C++ code and development. He goes over a lot of really interesting history as well. If the Roger Ver interview that I'm talking about, Let me see if I keep scrolling down. It is this one right here saying the block size war for control over Bitcoin with Roger Ver. I definitely encourage you to check that out. That's in a playlist that's for Rice Rewind and Crypto OGs. This will go over some more Bitcoin history for you, in addition to the video that I did with Amir Taki. Amir kind of gives a lot of explanation about things, even shows how, because he was the one that created what's called Bitcoin improvement proposals. A Bitcoin improvement proposal is where somebody submits some sort of code change or some sort of change to the code, and then it gets voted on and whether it gets approved or not. Well, the whole idea of a BIP, a Bitcoin improvement proposal, was created by Amir Taki, developer number 5 on the Bitcoin for Bitcoin, communicated with Satoshi and everything. The video has not gotten a lot of views. It's had less than 1,500 views each, which is sad considering what this guy has done in the space. Amir and Cody Wilson had a project called Dark Wallet. Cody Wilson, you might know from the 3D printed guns. Amir and Cody Wilson also worked with a guy by the name of Julian Assange to help get the what is the website called? I'm drawing a WikiLeaks, get it set up with Bitcoin donations and such. So there's a lot of history and things that have happened in the Bitcoin space that just kind of get thrown by the wayside or don't get mentioned. And I think that the history is important because Bitcoin was created, regardless of what anybody wants to say, especially in the crypto mainstream media or crypto media. Bitcoin was created to be a peer-to-peer cash system, not a store of value. Tell me where a store of value actually appears in a white paper. And I read an interesting statistic, and I think it was something to the effect of, in the various writings of Satoshi Nakamoto online in different forums, there was 3 or 4 times more use of the terms peer-to-peer cash versus store of value. Now, can it be both? Yes, it is very well possible to be both. But first, it has to be a successful peer-to-peer cash. And a Bitcoin that is not scaled, the Bitcoin that we have today, is not a threat to the US dollar or the fiat, dirty fiat system. A scaled Bitcoin with bigger blocks, bigger throughput would be a threat to the US dollar and fiat, dirty fiat currencies. And the argument that Roger Ver makes in this book is with the direction that Bitcoin has taken, especially since specifically 2017, Bitcoin Cash solves that. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, but it does appear that Bitcoin Cash is closer to the vision of what Satoshi Nakamoto had in the Bitcoin white paper. Not BSV, but the vision of the white paper. Satoshi's vision, not the BSV. Because again, a court did say that Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto. Do appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in. Flat Smack saying I actually heard from Charlie Shrimp. Charlie's good people, man. I met him a few times at some conferences. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you again. David Gelfin, appreciate you tuning in. Z589 Bitcoin can't scale, but you can have Bitcoin on the XRP ledger for almost no fees. I'll pass. I do appreciate decentralization. I'm not a huge fan of the XRP ecosystem. I'm not going to disrespect other people who do. I do own XRP, but my purpose in owning XRP is to trade it and to accumulate more Bitcoin. I want to stack sats, stack them Satoshis. If you guys haven't taken the opportunity to smash that like button, I greatly appreciate it. Right now, we got over 170 people watching. I want to see where that's coming from. A lot of it's probably coming from the X side. We have 15 people watching over on Rumble. Over on the YouTube side, it is showing me that we have 40 people, so that's 55. So X is definitely killing it. Let's see what we're actually looking at here. Over 132 people watching on X, which I greatly appreciate. Let me see how many reposts we have gotten on this. We have gotten 2 other reposts other than myself. So I would appreciate if you guys are watching on X and have not reposted and you appreciate this information, you appreciate learning about Bitcoin history, cryptocurrency history, learning about these OGs who made it possible for the individual of the group known as Satoshi Nakamoto to create Bitcoin. Be sure to share this. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. It's good to see you. You just got here and I'm about to wrap up this live stream. I'm probably going to be streaming tomorrow. If I don't stream tomorrow, it'll be Thursday, and I'm definitely going to be streaming Friday. I'm going to be streaming on Monday, the 29th of April, which is my birthday. I'm going to be doing a birthday live stream a week from yesterday on the 29th of April. Jim Montgomery, thank you. I appreciate my friend. Bitcoin Trini, you're a little late. Feel free to catch this back on replay. Take it back from the very beginning. I appreciate you tuning in. David, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend. It's good seeing everybody. Mark Weens, thank you. Again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to join me on today's live stream. If you're new to the channel, be sure to explore. Check out my playlist section and try to make sure I divide up the videos in a way that they can be digested very easily. Check out the Crypto OGs playlist, the Rice Rewind playlist, the You Must Watch This Crypto playlist. Definitely check them out. Make sure you subscribe to both of my YouTube channels. And I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick on full screen, which I had to split my channels up due to the censorship and stuff going on the YouTube side. So we have Rice Crypto / Rice TVX, and that's where we're at right now. And then my other YouTube channel, if I can navigate through, is Rice Against the Grain. Again, these are linked down below in the video description. And if you go to my website, ricetvx.com, scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that why didn't it load? You'll see when these widgets, there we go, these widgets load properly, you'll be able to watch both Rice Crypto and Rice Against the Grain directly on my website, because YouTube doesn't always notify people when videos come out. Let's see, was there anything else that I was going to share before we wrap up today's video? Yep, pre-search AMA, again, as I mentioned earlier, is happening tomorrow, April 24th at 2:00 p.m. Eastern time. So join us. We'll be streaming that on the pre-search YouTube, Rumble channels, and X at pre-search news. I will be doing some more streams this week. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. Let me check out the last little bit of comments here, and then we will be wrapping things up. I got some smart people in the house. David, I appreciate. Jason Fish, David Schwartz. Yeah, you're a smart guy, my friend. You're a smart guy. David Schwartz worked for the NSA and he created the patent for DLT in 1988, distributed ledger technology. David Schwartz is with Ripple, the company behind the XRP token. He says Bitcoin and XRP were created in the same IP address in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, that I had to research, Jason. I've never heard that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just had to research that. And the good thing about crypto is you don't trust, you verify. So I'm going to verify this information. I appreciate you sharing it, Jason. And again, I do appreciate everybody for taking the time to tune in for today's live stream. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, share this video out, and we will be doing this again. Before we wrap things up, as always, I like to add a little positivity. I'd like to wrap things up with a message to inspire others. And that is, I encourage every single one of you, and I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you. That's one thing that I hope people appreciate, is I would never, ever ask anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And I am on this path of practice change. So with that being said, be a blessing to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Be the glitch that you want to see in this matrix. Be the change that you want to see in this world. Get outside, touch grass, and until next time, know thyself. And when I say know thyself, truly know who you are. Again, thank you for joining me on today's live stream. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Before we wrap things up, I'm going to play the channel promo to ride us out of here. Don't forget to visit ricetvx.com, where you can watch both of my YouTube channels, Rice Crypto and Rice Against the Grain, directly. Find all of my social media links, sign up for my mailing list, and become a member of Rice Uncensored, where you can join me on the private side for less than $0.25 a day. You will get early access to both Rice Crypto and Rice Against the Grain, ad-free, unedited videos, exclusive content, members-only forum with direct access to me, live streams, and more to come, only at ricetvx.com. Only at ricetvx.com. Holla.